This is the Infatuasian Podcast, where I get together with a few friends and talk about Asian things and, of course, Asian people that we love. This is Curtis again, and on today's episode, we are still fantasizing about hitting the highways and airways and talking about travel. Hey everyone, welcome back to part 2 of our episode on travel. We'll get back to it in just a minute, but I wanted to share a couple things with you that I got from some listeners. So, Rebecca wrote in, and she wrote in saying that she's going to try doing a little cooking with dog and maybe a little made with Lao. She also threw out a few suggestions for us. She threw in Korean Bapsang, Just One Cookbook, and Seonkyoung Longest. I haven't tried those, so we'll definitely give those of you. You are welcome to try those as well. She also listened all the way to the end. I don't know if you caught that, but I threw in a little bonus content at the end of episode 7.2, and we were talking about Vincenzo. And she concurred with both Kelly and Mandy, who said I definitely should watch Vincenzo. So I gotta get to it one of these days. So thanks for that, Rebecca. Also, my sister Caryl, you've all heard about my foodie sister Caryl, but she is recommending Lady with Pups, Marion's Kitchen, and Walks of Life. WOKS of life. You know I like puns. So yeah, thanks Caryl. We'll put those titles or those channels all in the show notes so you can look them up as well. I took a peek at a few of them and they look great. Thank you for those recommendations. Also, Jonathan was listening to our travel podcast, part 1, and he wrote in, I was listening to your podcast and started dreaming of traveling. Then I showed up at work and had to confront the reality of wearing a mask all day, and now I'm super grumpy. Well, Jonathan, what can I say? We're right there with you. You can hear Alice and Tony longing to travel as well. It's tough. For those of you who love international travel, it is a super tough time, and those places are hurting too. You've heard us talk a little bit about how these economies are really struggling to make do without tourism. You know, San Francisco, same way. We rely on some tourist dollars out here. So everyone related to travel is kind of struggling, but we're working on it. And actually, don't worry, we're going to have some episodes that you can do at home even during these tough pandemic times. We're going to do an episode on frozen Asian food, so you can make Asian food at home. And we're also going to do one on Asian television, so you can watch Kim's Convenience or Fresh Off the Boat right at home. So anyway, so thanks, John. Sorry to ruin your day, but hopefully things will get better soon. Also, our friend Angus wrote in. You're actually going to hear episode 10 with Angus. So Angus wrote in and he recommended Hiroshima as a destination in Japan. Maybe not as many people put that on their travel list. You know, Tokyo is, of course, always people's number one choice for Japan, but he recommended Hiroshima. So he said it's, you know, a town just so full of history. You know, definitely some tough memories there. But he said, you know, the memorials and the statues and the art there, as well as the history, is all definitely worth seeing. So thanks for that recommendation, Angus. And special shout out to Glenn. Glenn is our dear listener. If you remember, he offered to bring over some balut so I can try the Filipino delicacy. But unfortunately, Glenn got in a serious car accident just recently. And he's been kind of laid up on the mend. And he was kind enough to write in and say that, you know, he's got nothing better to do than to listen to the Infatuasian Podcast. So thanks, Glenn. We really, can everyone out there send Glenn some positive thoughts and healing vibes? Get well, Glenn. You're in our thoughts, and I hope our little podcast can keep you company a little bit, and hope to see you around soon. So get better. Let's see, I hope I didn't miss anyone. Welcome any new listeners out there. I noticed in our analytics that a couple folks in Singapore are listening. Hey, all right, we should do an episode on Singapore. We didn't mention Singapore in our travel episode, but man, I would love to go to Singapore. So any Singapore listeners out there, if you want to come on the podcast and talk about Singapore. I would definitely be down to talk a little Singapore with you. Fascinating city/country, fascinating place with tons of history and a mishmash of Asian cultures. Just a really, really neat place that I've never been to, but I would love to go to. And to top it off, no language barrier for us, right? Well, mostly you can get around in English in Singapore. So it's got the best for us Americans. It's got the best of both worlds. It's got the Asian culture and the English language. Perfect. So anyway, thank you, Singapore, for listening. It's been about 2 months. We've been doing this little podcast for a couple months now, and it's good to have you out there. So thank you for listening. Well, let's get back to our episode on travel, episode 8.2 with Tony and Alice. All right, welcome back to episode 8. Hey, Tony and hey, Alice, welcome back.
Thank you. Hello.
Good to chat with you guys. Last week we talked about some locations like Tokyo and Indonesia and Hong Kong and China. This week we're gonna maybe get even a little more niche, a little more into the details. But I want to start out by talking about some travel questions for y'all, since you're such good travelers. I'm sure you have some secrets for us. So I want to pick your brain for a minute. Do you have a must-take item with you that no matter where you go, even if it's just for a weekend or definitely for international, is there something that you bring with you no matter what on every trip?
Yes.
What is it, Alice?
It's something very small, but something very, very important. You want to take a guess? Something very, very small.
Is it jewelry?
No, I can travel without any jewelry.
Okay.
Something small.
Very small.
Is it your retainer?
The earplugs. Yeah.
No matter what, you got to have the earplugs.
Yeah, I need to travel with my earplugs. It's important. It's just so important for me to get as much sleep as I could. And being a light sleeper, earplug really help to just block out any noises, whether it's on a plane, on the train, or in the hotel room.
Yeah,
you never know. So it's something I have to have with me when I travel.
Yeah, we were just in Hawaii, and there's 4 of us. I got me, my wife, and 2 girls, and 4 of us in one room was kind of rough. So I had to go with earplugs. So yeah, that's a good call on that one. How about you, Tony? What do you have to bring with you whenever you travel?
Okay, you guys are going to laugh at this. So every time we travel, we bring a small little bag of Ghirardelli chocolates.
Oh, really?
Really?
So get this, Alice. I know you can appreciate this. So, we go to Walgreens or wherever we go, Costco, and we buy maybe 3 or 4, depending where we're going. And when we check into the hotel, we determine which front desk clerk would be able to assist us appropriately. And I am not even joking. It happens probably 3 out of 4 times. Because Alice, sometimes when you, as a flight attendant, you arrive super early, but as a flight attendant, you automatically get checked in. If I'm a paid guest, check-in's 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
Right.
So, that chocolate speeds it up. That chocolate gets us free breakfast. That chocolate gets us that corner room. And you know what? And if it doesn't, you've just made someone's day. Plus, It's from San Francisco. It's a conversation piece.
Yeah, okay. That is a great tip. I need to remember that one because I'm always waiting to check in. I hate that.
I always get chocolates or candies when I bring those on a flight with me, to share with the flight attendants, just to show appreciation, not for upgrade or whatever, things like that. I never try with hotel stuff.
Yeah. You should. Yeah. You really should. It absolutely makes a difference. We used to do that with flight attendants, but it's such a whole different ball game with the flight attendants now. So I said, we're going to continue to do it with the hotels. And if you think about it, that $6, $5 bag of candy is totally well worth the upgrade. Or putting in the concierge floor that gives us free breakfast and happy hour drinks.
Amazing.
Yeah. It never hurts to try, never hurts to ask.
Exactly.
Well, here's a story that you'll like, Tony, because my sister, for our honeymoon, so we were in Paris, and we had an interesting trip. So we were in Normandy, and then we came back to Paris for one day to fly back to the States, and so we just needed accommodations for one night. And so my sister said, "Oh, I'll take care of this one for you guys," and she booked us a room at the Four Seasons, the George Cinq, the George V on the Champs-Élysées. And she mentioned that it was our honeymoon, right? And so we get there. She just booked us a regular room, which was fine. It's just one night. We were just excited about it. Anyway, it's the Four Seasons, right? And then we get there, and they go, "We have a surprise for you." And she goes, "We had a cancellation, so we're going to put you in. We heard it's your honeymoon, so we're going to put you in the English suite, which is the only four-posted bed in Paris, or no, in that hotel, the only four-posted bed in the Four Seasons. And it was something like, over 2,000 square feet. It was just an amazing suite. And it was like, yeah, talk about an upgrade. And we were just like, she's like, "Oh, yeah." She's like, "Oh, sorry, it's not quite ready yet." We're like, "No problem. We'll wait for that." We had, we were young at the time. So we had duffel bags and, like cheapy mismatched luggage. And we're checking into the English suite at the Four Seasons.
That's the best.
That was a killer, and my sister was super happy about it because she's like, "Yeah, it never hurts to say stuff like that. If it's your honeymoon, if it's your birthday, if it's your first time in Paris or whatever, let them know. Yeah. Who knows what could happen, right?"
But even when I travel with your sister, so when she worked for Bon Appetit magazine, when she books anything, it's under Condé Nast. So she was doing some event in Hawaii, and she goes, "Meet me there." So I flew there. She had this room that was top floor corner, and they gave her this gift basket that was probably the size of my body, and I'm short. I'm like typical Asian size, 5'6". And then she says, like, "No, that's she just brushed it off because I said, 'You're used to this. I'm not used to this. It's insane.'" I said, "They gave you a full pineapple. I mean, they didn't even this gift basket was everything." And I thought, this is the life you live. I need to follow you.
Yeah, it's good to be Caryl sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. You're right.
We'll have her on the show one of these days, but yeah, she's almost too big for the Infatuation podcast. We got to work our way up to having Caryl on the show. All right. Well, let's see. Let me. My thing, and Alice is definitely going to laugh at me for this one. But the one thing that I like to bring, I don't always do it, but the one thing I like to bring with me is a paper map. If I can find a map of the city, especially like, New York, Alice is like, "What the heck? What century are you from?" But I know, I like to see the whole city at once. On the phone, it's just hard to, like, if you're in New York, right? You're in Paris, it's hard to see the whole city at once, and I like to get the lay of the land. I'm a very visual person. And so if I can get it, and you can get them cheap now. You can find them cheaper now.
Yeah, because no one's buying them, Curtis.
No one buys. I'm the only one. I'm keeping them in business. But I like those laminated ones, like not the huge ones. I'm not going, the 9-fold one.
Oh, see, that's what I was thinking.
Okay, not necessarily paper, but the laminated one. The Streetwise New York or Streetwise Paris. And I like to just see where I'm at, and it's bailed me out a couple times.
You definitely don't find it in Hong Kong with a paper map in your hand. So
I know. You're definitely putting a flag in the air saying that you're not from here. If you're one, that you're old, and two, that you're not from here. If you bring out a paper map, I knew you'd laugh at me, Alice, for that one. All right. Well, okay. So Tony gave us an inside tip, actually. But do you have, Alice? Maybe as a flight attendant, you can give us an inside tip, or any tips you might have for us getting through the airport a little easier, or getting a good deal on something. Do you guys have any inside tips for us?
Well, I just wish everybody would know, like, treat yourself at home on a plane, but don't treat yourself at home. Like, besides like some people, like when they get on the plane, they would just, settle down and they get super relaxed and then take off their shoes. So like, besides the smell of your shoes is probably like unbearable, and we need to put coffee bags discreetly around you. Like walking barefoot in flight, like, isn't a at all. Not at all.
Yes.
Like, you won't want to know how dirty the plane could be. like I'm not gonna talk in details about it, but like I had passengers, they literally just like lay down on the floor to sleep. Like, you know, like even not with like a blanket underneath, no pillow, nothing, like just lay down on the floor, like you know, like by the exit row. Like, don't do that, guys. Don't do that.
Yeah, and there's so much entitlement too, where a lot of people feel like, hey, I paid $700 for this. I can treat you however I want, or I can I can get whatever I need to get everything I can out of this.
Yeah. You like basically every flight. Yeah.
Can I have another soda? Can I have
like the playing cards, the pens. We don't really have like tons of pens in flight. So like, and then like so. You know, I know like it's so common. It's just like so by default, like you would borrow a pen and then like you don't return it, right? So end up like among the crew, we would just ask each other, do you have a pen? Do you have a pen? Do you have a pen? Because we ran out of all the pens.
I would go to relatives' house and they would have a whole drawer full of like Singapore Airlines silverware. I'm like, wait, why is this say China Airlines or whatever? Oh man, how about Tony? Got any inside tips for us besides the chocolates?
Yeah, so just along the lines with Alice, I think that everyone just needs to be respectful to frontline airline staff. Whether it's the gate agent or the flight attendant, or even if you're calling reservations, one thing that they need to know and understand is that everything is documented. So if you call reservations and something happened and you lied and you said, I'm just going to go talk to someone in person at the airport, that reservation agent documented every single thing almost verbatim. You'll get to the gate and you're going to try to get over on the extra, waive the baggage fee or the change fee. And it's documented. We have histories and pages of histories of what you do. So a lot of people don't get that. If you try to call and hang up and try someone new, that when you call again, that person the new agent who you're speaking to already knows that you called previously, and it's documented. And then it's documented at the airport and everything is flagged all the way up to the flight attendant. So I don't know if people realize that as people try to, let's go to this lady over here. She looks nicer. Let's go to this guy over here. So I used to see that at the airport all the time. We'd say, little do they know that you're so flagged.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. It goes both ways too, because like I know everyone has a story about an airline that they may never fly ever again. But I had a good experience with United, and they, we had to cancel a trip because of some medical things, and United let us cancel, and they really took care of us, and so to this day, I'll be a United fan. I think that when the company treats you well and they take care of you, it makes me, of course it varies. Everyone's experience, like I'm sure there's someone out there right now like I hate United, I had a terrible, whatever. Yeah. But I had a good one, and so if I have a choice and United pops up and the fare is good, I'll fly United just because I have good memories with them. So it goes both ways, I guess. The airline remembers you, and people remember airlines. So treat each other with kindness, everyone. And
I like traveling with United too, but I would bring my own food. That's the thing.
Yes.
Yeah, nowadays.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm sure you probably have some other stories, Alice, that you're not going to share with us, but I'm sure there's a lot of things that go on with airlines.
The flight attendant stories are the best.
Yeah, oh man, really funny stories, but I'm not gonna.
That's a whole different podcast.
But it sounds like you made some lifetime friends, on the circuit. You met some people that you probably still keep in touch with.
Mm-hmm. A lot of them.
Yeah, that's great. Any weird stories about traveling as an Asian? So this could be in Europe or South America or Africa or wherever. But any stories about traveling while Asian?
I have one. So I was traveling with my two other girlfriends. We went to France. So we went to southern France. It was like summertime, so like we wanted to see all these like pretty lavender fields and sunflower fields. Like it was just the three of us. Selena, Selena, me, and my other flight attendant friend. So I don't know, like maybe like, it was not a common scene to have three Asian girls walking down the street, and we were taking a road trip, so we rented a car, we were just driving, and then like people like naturally they got so curious about us, and we were in a restaurant, and the owner of the restaurant was like super curious, like he would come up to talk to us, and then but we couldn't really understand him. Like he was speaking in French. So like we were just like, haha, yeah, that kind of stuff. And then he gave us like a free wine, and then like gave us like free appetizer. Like it was fun. And then when we were about to leave, he came out of the restaurant again, and he hugged like each one of us, and then like kissed us like several times on our forehead. Like I was like, okay, I'll let it pass by for for all the free wine and free food. So yeah.
I guess he just really likes it.
Yeah, so that was pretty funny.
I found in France, I'd heard that sometimes in France they don't necessarily like Americans, so I was a little nervous first time I was there. But I think sometimes when you're going as an Asian American, they don't necessarily know where you're from, and we always got treated very nicely when we were in France. And there was this one time and I don't know why we did this because we were in France, but we went to a Chinese restaurant outside of Paris, and we were just kind of, we're hungry, we'll give it a try. So we went to this Chinese restaurant, and they saw us, and then they spoke. My wife speaks Cantonese, so they asked her if she speaks Cantonese, and she said yeah, and they were super happy to have us there. This wasn't Paris; it was a little smaller town. They were super happy to have us there, and they said, "Oh, come over here and sit." And they gave us a really good seat, and they were actually they were sort of closed in a way, and they just took care of us, and they brought out extra dishes, and they were just yakking away with us in Cantonese. I think they were just happy to speak Cantonese, because a lot of Chinese travelers will speak Mandarin, right, or English, and so they treated us real well, and it was a good meal. It wasn't the best Chinese food. It was kind of like, well, why are we eating Chinese food in France? But at the same time, it was kind of a neat little memory that we have of eating Chinese food in France, and just having a good time talking to the waiters and stuff like that. How about you, Tony? You got a traveling while Asian story?
Yeah, there was a time when we went to Egypt, and this is kind of the reverse. Normally I'm the Asian, the person who they're trying to figure out, what's my nationality, what's my issue. But I was traveling with some friends and my partner, and everyone is Caucasian, so they didn't like Americans, but they were more than happy to help me. Or
Yeah.
I thought that was
Right.
so interesting, where I thought, wow, I'm so used to people trying to figure me out. Are you Chinese? Are you something? They usually don't, they're not sure what part of Asia I'm from. But in this instance, they were super friendly and helpful, but they wouldn't help my friends. It was so odd. And they thought, what's happening? And I said, I don't think they're kind to you guys, because I think you guys maybe be appearing as loud Americans. I don't know, because I was just kind of just doing my own thing, and I'm like, what's the story here? How? And that was the marketplace, and how any marketplace around the world, there's hustle and bustle, but when it's evident like that, it's jarring. So I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I've never had it be a detriment. I've had some good experiences being Asian. All right. Hey, I got a little currency quiz for you. You ready to take the currency quiz?
Let's do it.
How well do you know? Let's see what you. I'm not trying to embarrass you, so if you're wrong, that's fine. That's fine. All right. So, we'll start easy, Alice. Can you tell me how much in American dollars is one Hong Kong dollar?
Like 7.78.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so we get 7.7, and that doesn't move, right? It's pretty stable. 7.7.
Pretty much, yeah. Like sometimes you get 7.75 or something like that, but pretty much they stay the same.
Yeah, because it's been like that ever since I can remember. Just a little bit under 8.
Yeah.
All right, you did well, Alice. Do you think in American dollars anymore, or are you totally?
Yeah, I still convert. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of can't help it, right? You're like, oh, this is expensive.
Oh yeah.
So I would convert, and sometimes, oh my god, this is so expensive. Like this is only like $4 in the States, and it's selling like in Hong Kong. I'm not buying that. I will do that.
Yeah, you can't help it. Can't help it.
Yeah.
All right, Tony, I think you know this one. Do you know the exchange rate on the Thai baht?
I don't know. Is it 400 baht to the dollar?
No, I think it's 32 or 30, something like that.
So let's see, Thai baht. I'm Googling it, right?
I know.
I had it at 3 cents. So 1 baht equals 3 cents. So $1 is 33.
33, yeah.
So nowadays, there's apps, right? So you just use an app, and or do you still do the mental math, or do you just go?
I have an app.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I
not?
said the number's so high. I always think in terms of hundreds. So, like every country I go to, I don't think of the $1.
Yeah, because it's too little. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Either of you know the Japanese yen?
I think $1 is about 100. Yeah.
It's pretty close. Yeah, it's like 90 something.
Yeah.
That's a pretty easy one. So it's like a penny. So every yen is like a penny. All right, these are hard ones. Are you ready? The Indonesian rupiah.
I don't know.
A lot of zeros.
A lot of zeros.
Yes.
$1 in rupiah is 14,365 rupiahs. So that's crazy.
They have high numbers on their currency.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you spend $1 million, you're like, oh man, it's $1 million, but it's really only $10. All right, last one. How about the Vietnamese dong? Another big one. Vietnamese dong, $1.
It's a lot of
Any
zeros
ideas?
as well.
Yeah.
23,000.
23,000 for the dollar.
So your $1 banh mi will be 23,000.
Yeah, pretty much.
VD, yeah. All right, that was just for fun. You guys did pretty well. You're in the ballpark. All right, let's move on to our next challenge. So this is a destination in Asia. I always say Asia now. Destination in Asia that is a niche one, like something that is kind of unique, maybe appeals to a certain crowd. Maybe people know about it, maybe they don't. So let's go ahead and go with Alice. Is there a pick that you would, so maybe a certain crowd this destination would appeal to?
Foodie heaven and shopaholic. I would say Seoul.
Oh, Seoul.
Yeah.
We talk about Seoul all the time because of Korean dramas.
And the Korean food is just so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Korean, when you think of Korean, you automatically associate with like kimchi and stuff. So a lot of the local restaurants, they make their own kimchi. So those would taste different at every place.
Oh.
So a lot of them, they would just like put a big pot of kimchi on the table next to you with a pair of scissors. So like you can just cut and eat as much as you want.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And the fact that you could go like order deep fried chicken with bear delivered to your hotel room is just another reason to love Seoul.
Oh man, the Korean fried chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Every drama has it now, and
it's the best.
Yeah, it's so
we
good.
we have a couple places out here, but I'm sure it's not as good as Korea.
Yeah, like and the food, like the food, the shopping, everything is so affordable too. They have like the is it called a Dongda Moon? Like it's like a wholesale shop, like shopping area, and then like they will open at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. at night. And like you could just go there and shop.
Man, yeah. Watching these dramas, we've mentioned this in our other episodes that the government, the travel bureau or the tourism department, I think they have a big hand in these Korean dramas getting made and showcasing the food, the scenes, the nightlife. It seems like such a great place. I definitely want to go there.
It's on my list too.
Yeah, we got to do it. So if you like food, especially spicy food, right? Barbecue, noodles, seafood, they have it all.
I would say try the soy sauce crab when you're here. Yeah, like I wouldn't eat that like everywhere else, but I would have that in Korea. Like it's so good. It's like the raw crabs marinated in soy sauce and other like ingredients.
Wow, that sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sounds good. Oh man, we got to do another food episode. All right, so foodies out there, head over to Seoul, get your Korean food on. Great recommendation. Tony, how about you? What do you think about a location that might be unique for someone out there?
So for me, beach lovers' dreaming paradise is Palawan in the Philippines.
Ooh.
So when everyone sees the beaches in the Philippines, it's either going to be El Nido, which is in Palawan province, or Boracay. So why I kind of like Palawan is because everyone used to go to Boracay. Now everyone's going to Palawan, but it has all these little islands, and you could just rent a boat, and you could jump onto these islands, and there's no one on these islands, and you could, if you don't like that island, you can tell the boat captain or whatever you call them to take you somewhere else. The water is so clear there that when we went snorkeling, my flipper came off on my foot, and as I saw it descend downwards, it really looked smaller, and I started to freak out because I'm not a strong swimmer. And, the fact that I could still see it and it got smaller kind of...
But it was like 30 feet down, 40 feet.
Yeah, exactly. And I told the guy, I said, I can't get my flipper. And he's like, I got it. I got you. The sand there is so soft. And I took my niece and my nephew, and we took the whole family actually out there. And I think we rented, we went to the dock and rented a boat to take us around. I think it was $100 for like 12 of us in this giant boat for the full day to take us island hopping. And then, and even when we saw other people, I kept telling my sister, I says, since it's the whole family, let's just find somewhere where that's not popular. So we told the guy, of course, they're going to take us to the main places. So he said, I can take you to any island you want. You have me for the day. So, I thought that was pretty amazing, especially in light of the waters were still and clear and the sand was soft. So every island we went to was it's a beach lover's paradise.
And the snorkeling is just off the hook.
Yeah,
right?
it was amazing. It's amazing.
I've heard a lot of things about Palawan.
Yeah, it's really the way it is. Whatever everyone says.
It's great. It's really famous for scuba diving.
Scuba, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do that, right, Alice? You've been trained.
Yeah. So
you're gonna love it there.
Yeah, I heard tons of good things about it.
And we were just in Hawaii, and the guides there were saying that the reefs have had a year off from visitors, so the reefs are looking good right now. So if you can get over to a reef, this is the time.
Alice, this is your time.
Oh man, just get ready when this thing is over, and it's just got to be over soon, right? Hopefully.
For me, going there from Hong Kong is super easy, so I'm ready. So
quick, yeah.
And plus you have so many discounted airlines you can get on. I think, does it still have Dragon Air there out of Hong Kong?
No, Dragon Air is out of business.
Oh no.
It's Air Asia. You fly Air Asia. You can get like $100 or less tickets. Island hop.
Mm-hmm. I think there's no direct flight to there. We still have to transit in either Manila or Cebu first, I believe.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. All right, yeah. Thanks, Tony, for that. Sounds amazing. I'm gonna go with, again, I haven't traveled as much as you guys, so I don't have as many locations to choose from. But there's a very touristy street in Taiwan. It's New Taipei City. You go up there. What is it? About an hour from Taipei, and you go to the street. It's called Old Street in Jiufen, and it's just kind of like this old touristy street. And they have a lot of street foods, and you meander on the cobblestones, and you work your way up. But the reason people like going there, one of the reasons people like going there, well, I like going there anyway, but one of the reasons people like going there is because there's a tea house there that looks just like the one from Spirited Away. Now, Miyazaki said it is not his inspiration for Spirited Away, but it's still popular with tourists, and so a lot of Japanese tourists go there, or a lot of Studio Ghibli fans end up going there. And there's so many Japanese tourists, they actually had kind of the Japanese style inn where you just sleep on the floor, and they have the sliding kind of partitions. And it's just kind of a neat escape from Taipei. If you're over in Taiwan and you kind of want to get out of the big city, and they have really good seafood there, and it's an old mining town. That's where the Jiufen, the 9 pieces Jiufen comes from. And I recommend it. It's a nice little day trip. Maybe spend one night there. You don't need to spend that long there, but just go to the tea houses, enjoy the the vibe of the old city there, and it's kind of a neat place. Have you guys ever been there before?
Yeah.
No, I've never been. No, that's on my list now too.
All right, yeah, I like Taiwan. Taiwan is not. People don't dream about Taiwan like they dream about Seoul or Beijing or places like that. But I really like Taiwan. Do you guys like Taiwan?
I do. It's a good eating. It's a good foodie destination.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's clean and modern, easy to get around.
Stinky tofu,
night market.
Yeah.
And the Peking duck there, they have a little rivalry with Beijing, like which one has the better duck. So they have some really good cheap Peking duck in Taiwan as well. And they stole a lot of treasures from China, so the museums in Taiwan are pretty good because they stole a lot of the national treasures from China when they fled the country. Oh man, that's a sore subject. I shouldn't dwell on that one. All right. Okay. Thanks for your expo on that one. Those are the niche ones. We have Palawan in the Philippines, and we have Seoul and Jiufen in Taiwan. All right. So we're kind of coming to the end of our show here a little bit, but we can't limit you to 3 destinations, right? You guys have been to too many destinations, so I'm gonna ask you: is there anything else that didn't make your list on the list so far? Places that we definitely should put on our radar for a trip to Asia. How about you, Tony? You want to start off?
For me, I like Chengdu.
Oh yeah,
the pandas. You got to go there for the panda.
If you like pandas.
And they're not like the pandas here in the U.S. They're active. I mean, I don't know why you go to a zoo here in the U.S. The pandas don't move. The pandas there are active. So what is it called? The Chengdu Research Base for breeding pandas. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know that they owned China owns all the pandas in the world. So
basically.
That was really interesting. And they have to loan out the pandas. The reason why we visited was specifically for the pandas. So the one thing I do regret, though, was that not taking a picture with the pandas, because you can actually take pictures. But, the cheap Filipino in me, that $300 price tag. Oh. And I think they said, you're not our guide, the woman who took us there. She said, it's maybe 20 seconds, 30 seconds. You literally wear the
suit. Yeah.
You're in and out. And I thought, should I do it? Should I do it? And I love pandas. So besides the pandas, though, the food that's in it's a Sichuan province. I say Sichuan. So the food there is super spicy. So those who have a, affinity for spiciness, even their not spicy is super spicy. And also one thing I didn't know was that it's recognized by the UNESCO World Heritage Site as a city of gastronomy. So that's huge. I mean, that's big. That meaning that they're known specifically for that specific cuisine. Huh. So
yeah, and you can look at the pandas right now. Don't they have a 24-hour panda cam?
They do.
So even though we can't get there,
panda cam.
Check out the panda cam. $300 for 30 seconds, but you regret not doing it, huh?
Yeah, because when else are you going to be able to? Yeah. It was hard though, because when you're traveling and you eat for a few bucks and you're like, $300.
You can't think about it. You think too much.
I know. Yeah. I think if I were younger and not just go with the flow, but I think as a more mature adult, when I went to Chengdu, I thought
$300.
$300. I could be paying off my cell phone bill. I could be.
That's a month of gas. Yeah.
I have a picture of me holding the koala. Back in
in Australia, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 20 or 30 Australian dollars.
Much cheaper.
Yeah, but I thought it was expensive, but I just bit my tongue and did it, and I'm really happy I did that. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. See. Yeah. Why did you say that, Alice?
That gives you a reason to go back.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, some of these places, I mean, I'm sure the money goes to helping the pandas.
Yeah, it does, and it's just me being just so.
Yeah, that is expensive, but they're so good at breeding pandas. I think pandas are no longer endangered. They have so many pandas now because they're so good at it. But that's great because who doesn't like a panda? Who doesn't?
Yeah, exactly.
They're so cute. All right, Alice, what do you think? Where is a location we haven't talked about yet, but that we definitely should know about?
I would go for Bali.
Oh, Bali.
Yes.
Bali is full of history and it has so much to offer. They have really great, like, tours. What do you call it? Like, it's just so like tourist friendly. Like great hospitality and get to stay in nice villas at very, very affordable price.
Affordable.
Yeah, but like it came with your own pool and then it was huge. I think we stayed in a nice area too, Seminyak. So we had
Seminyak.
Yeah. So we had the I think it's not a room. I think it's like a house. So for 130, 140 US dollars. It came with your own pool, and then you have a butler preparing your breakfast in your own kitchen.
Oh my gosh!
Yes.
So it can't get better than that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, we hire a local driver for sightseeing I think it's for up to 12 hours, and it was like 50 or 70 US dollars for the whole day, including like gas and the driver and the car.
Wow.
So it was
That's
really
amazing.
convenient and stress-free, especially if you travel with seniors and or small children. It's a great place to be.
Well, would you say for a honeymoon, would you recommend it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, right. Very romantic.
So I went like I think 5 or 6 years ago. It was for my then boyfriend, so my husband. It was for his birthday. So I think like the hotel got a wrong message. They thought like it was for a honeymoon. So like they decorated the room with like petals and then like the heart like flowers and stuff. And the towel, so it was really awkward. So
I'll take it though, right?
Okay.
You'll take it.
it's like and then I had to tell I told him like I didn't ask for all of this, like I'm not trying to imply something. Yeah,
He just wants to hang out. Yeah.
and then like so we didn't say anything to the hotel, but I think later on the day they realized, oh, like maybe the wrong couple, like they're not here for honeymoon. So they sent us a cake, but the cake says like "Happy Birthday, Alice." So like,
Close enough.
Yeah.
Close enough.
like, okay, we gotta take it.
Oh man, no, Bali definitely a place to go visit. And I saw a YouTube video, and they're really struggling. This pandemic because they, like 90% of their economy is on tourism. So hopefully we'll be able to ramp it back up soon. But yeah, again, the reefs will be untouched. The water will be crystal clear. So if you can get there, definitely get there. And that's a quick flight for you too, right? Indonesia's what, 2 hours?
4 hours.
4 hours.
Everything is so close to you, Alice. You're so lucky.
I know. Like,
As soon as this thing is over. Plus, you got the U.S. passport, right? So you can go pretty much anywhere.
yeah.
All right. Let's see. I didn't share mine because I don't really have one. But I will throw out. This is kind of a cheater pick because I don't travel as much as you guys. But I'm gonna say Kauai. I know it's still America, right? It's still it's the 50th state, but it's not in Asia. But in America, if you're gonna stay in America, there is nowhere. I mean, as many Asians as there are in San Francisco, I wouldn't say San Francisco feels like an Asian city. But if you go to Kauai or Oahu, it is about as Asian as you can get and still be in the United States. Use your dollars, clean water. Don't worry about the language barrier. But you can try some great food. They have definitely a Japanese influence, an island influence. The food is amazing. But the thing is, I have a picky eater, right? I have a 9-year-old, and she likes mac and cheese, and she likes chicken strips and stuff. So Hawaii is a place where we can get our kind of exotic food. Like I'm not going to take my picky eater to Bangkok. It's just not yet, at least. But I can take her to Kauai, and we can get the chicken strips. You can get the mac and cheese. You can get pizza if you have to. But you can also try sort of exotic food. A little bit more something that we don't have a great scene out here in the mainland. And you feel, I don't know about you guys, but you feel like you're in Asia. I do a little bit. It's definitely more tropical, right? And it's got a different vibe than any other state. So, also with little kids, I don't know about that 15-hour flight to Hong Kong, or Vietnam or Tokyo. So, a 5-hour flight, a 9-year-old can do a 5-hour flight
Doable.
with ease. Definitely easy. And you don't worry about diseases. You don't worry about language barrier. You can use your credit cards easily. And so I'm going to throw out a shout out to Hawaii. We were there just last week, and pretty much half of California is out there right now. But it's still a great destination. And so if you can't get all the way to Asia, or there's one or two reasons why Asia might not be the best destination for you with little kids or maybe older folks, think about Hawaii. Hawaii is a great pick. Just a quick little edit here. As I edit this podcast, I realized that, now this was recorded in early August, and now August 30th, the governor of Hawaii is asking people to stay away from Hawaii for a little while, and I think I want to respect that. So while I do recommend Hawaii as a wonderful location to visit, but not just yet, maybe December or maybe 2022. I know it's a super bummer, but we gotta get this thing under control. So for respect for the Hawaiians and the folks that live there, please just be wise as you travel and be safe. And now back to the show. All right. Bucket list, guys. You guys got a trip that as soon as the pandemic's over, you want to go? Like Alice already mentioned a couple, but any bucket list picks, Alex, before you die, you got to go to this place?
For me, it's the Maldives.
The Maldives.
My bucket list for a really long time. I wanted to go there for my honeymoon, actually. But because we were on standby, the flights going to Maldives were they were always packed. So there wasn't a chance for us to get on at all. So it is definitely on my bucket list.
If I were you, Alice, I would try to get there. Make that your first thing once you can. Only because we were there in November. You will love the Maldives. It's uninhabited right now. These resorts are hurting for people, and never before has the Maldives, the price has been this low. I mean, really. I mean,
oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
The prices for these over the water bungalows and and the meal packages, it's unlike anything that's ever happened.
Yeah, I looked that up in June. I had a 2 weeks holiday in June, and I really wanted to go, but the thing is we have to be on quarantine for 14, I think it was 14 or no 21 days back.
From Hong Kong though.
Back to Hong Kong, yeah. We have to quarantine the hotel for 21 days. That's why that was the only reason I didn't do it. But maybe hopefully in October when, the rules are more relaxed, we can do that.
Yeah, we did the Maldives because that was one of only, I think, 10 or 12 places the U.S. can travel last year. And I said, I will do the Maldives. I because there's no other time we'd be able to get there.
Right, but it's so hard to get to.
Yeah, we routed through Istanbul to Male, and then you have to take a small jumper plane. But get this. So when we flew there, we sit at the W. There was maybe only 10 guests.
Oh, wow.
We had, and then you know what they said?
The whole beach to yourself.
Listen to this. This is what they said to us. They said, hey, so the resort is empty, as you know. So we would like to upgrade you to a beach villa. So you know what we said? We said no. We didn't come here for a beach villa. We came here for the over-the-water bungalow experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when we did the over-the-water bungalow experience, we said, can we still get the upgrade? Because we did this now. So we did. So they gave us both villas. And these villas were like 2 stories. It was amazing. I'm telling you got to go.
And the scuba snorkeling scene, right?
Oh, and how you were saying, Curtis, about the reefs being clean. They were saying the exact same thing. But luckily that the Maldives, they were saying that it's one of the countries that's slowly sinking, or I don't know if it's sinking, they're going to lose
ocean
it.
rising.
Yeah, and also to that, a lot of the coral is dying. So they were happy. You know, the biologists are happy, the marine biologists are happy that there's not a lot of traction in the reefs, but at the same time, the rest of the world was saying, the rest of the Maldives was saying we need people to sustain the tourism there. So
yeah, another one of those places that's just rough.
Yeah.
Man, are you guys beach people or city people or both? You sound like you're both.
Well,
I mean, yeah, we're both, but I'm mostly lately. I've been doing a lot of beach stuff because of COVID. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
But I normally like the cultural aspect of stuff. So
yeah,
I'm both.
All right, Tony, you got a bucket list you got to get to?
Yeah, so my bucket list, Machu Picchu in Peru.
Oh, okay.
So that's been on my list a while, and I want to get there while my knees are still working. And you have to acclimate to the high altitude. I want to make sure I can still breathe when I'm there. So
right.
That's on my list.
Yeah, it's a unique place.
Yeah.
It's such a cool place. It's a couple flights and definitely some hiking. So.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a big one. All right, how about since we got to come back to Earth a little bit here, guys, and many of our listeners may not be able to travel very much in the next few months. Do you have a recommendation for a staycation? Now, Alice is in Hong Kong, so you may not be able to go very far. But any recommendations for a staycation? I'll go first. I'm a huge fan of staycations because we live in the Bay Area, which is such a luxury because we have Napa an hour away, we have Tahoe 3 hours away, we have the ocean, of course. You can go up and down the coast. So I'm a huge fan of staycations, and then 75% of the reason why I travel is for food. And so, we're lucky to live in a place where we can get pretty authentic food of almost any kind. And so I'm a huge fan of staycations in the Bay Area. You can go to San Jose for some good pho. You can get Filipino food in Daly City. You can get Indian food in Fremont. You can go up to Napa and get world-class wines. We are very fortunate to have dim sum in Millbrae. There's so many places that we can go to get pretty authentic food around the Bay Area. But Alice, what do you think? You got any staycation plans coming up?
Yeah, well, I wish I'm in the States right now and I could at least travel domestically. Like, I know I could at least pop on a plane, but being stuck in Hong Kong, hotel staycation is a really popular option here. So almost all hotels offer staycation packages to local residents at like really heavily discounted prices. Yeah, so
because they got to fill it up, I guess. Huh?
Yeah, so we spent I think it's a great idea as well. Like you could just try all these like fancy hotels that you wouldn't normally stay in because you live in Hong Kong, right?
Right.
Yeah, so we spent 2 nights in the Mirror Hotel in Tsim Sha Tsui. It's one of the most popular tourist areas, and we liked it a lot. We liked the experience because we really got to explore around and try some nice restaurants. Normally, it's an area we would avoid going because it's always traffic getting there and the streets are just full of people. So it was a great experience. Really felt like being a tourist for 2 days.
It's fun. Yeah. No, I love doing that. I'll go to Fisherman's Wharf. I'll go to Pier 39.
Yeah, me too.
I like doing that stuff. How about you, Tony? You got a staycation recommendation for us?
For me, we like going up to the river, just up in Guerneville. It's a small little town. There's the redwoods. I born and raised in San Francisco. I'm used to a big city. I usually like to go somewhere that's just quiet if it's local, and just to decompress, recommune with nature, breathe fresh air, not have to hear Bart or Muni or anything around me. Plus, it's close to all the wineries, like you were saying. So it's a good place to go.
Yeah, no, I love the Russian River. Great one. Okay, now not exactly sure how to segue into this segment. This is a segment that we do in part 2s. You guys know it. It's called Asians Being Awesome. Actually, I started doing Asians Being Awesome on my personal Facebook a couple years ago just to highlight some cool things that Asians are doing. And this kind of gave birth to the seed of the idea of doing a podcast about Asian things and people. And the first person I ever had on my Asians Being Awesome post is named Betty Yong. You may not have heard of her, and honestly, I hadn't heard of her until maybe 5 years ago. Betty Yong passed away about 20 years ago. She passed away on September 11th, 2001. Yep. That date should sound familiar to you because that was the day that American Airlines Flight 11 crashed into the World Trade Center in New York City. Betty Ong was a flight attendant on that flight. She worked for American Airlines. She is from San Francisco, and she went to George Washington High School. Go Eagles! And so she was a local woman, born in 1956. So she was just doing her job that day, just like many other days that she had been working in the airlines. And then the hijacking took place. And when the hijacking took place, the terrorist moved towards the front of the airplane, and Betty got out her cell phone and called American Airlines and told them what was going on as it was happening, at risk to her own life. You know, they could have caught her, and they could have, you know, no one knew what was going on, because up to this point, most hijackings ended up with negotiations and demands. Up to this point, most hijackings were some sort of a, you know, some sort of a way to get money or some sort of a way to get attention. But we now know that this hijacking was going to be different. But Betty got on the phone and talked for 25 minutes to American Airlines, and they recorded this, and you can find these on YouTube. So at 8:46, Flight 11 was flown into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. And, you know, she may not sound like a hero to you, but that phone call got American Airlines to alert everyone on the ground to no more flights could take off that day. And who knows? Who knows what could have happened on other flights that morning that could have taken off. But Betty's phone call grounded all air operations to a halt, and it might have saved lives. It might have saved hundreds of lives at that point. And so we salute Miss Ong, local woman. Her brother is from around here. He's a pharmacist. And one of my former students actually worked with him, and people from Lowell, you might know the name Ong because she was Betty's sister-in-law, worked at Lowell High School for many years, many years, teaching Chinese to students at Lowell. So if you've had Miss Ong at Lowell, that is Betty Ong's sister-in-law. So a lot of local connections for us here in the Bay Area to Betty, and they. Willie Brown, on September 21st, dedicated, he declared September 21st, Betty Ong Day here in San Francisco. And the rec center over near Chinatown was dedicated in her name in 2011. So if you've ever driven past Chinatown Rec Center, or I think a lot of people call it CC, if you've driven past there, it's called the Betty Ong Rec Center. And now you know who Betty Ong is. So that's it for Asians Being Awesome on this episode that we are talking about travel, and we do have a flight attendant with us here, but we do want to recognize Betty as someone who made a difference perhaps in ways that we may never actually know the impact of that. So thank you for being awesome, Betty, and rest in peace. So that's going to do it for episode number 8 on travel. I know, we're not really doing a whole lot of traveling right now, but someday soon. Hey, Alice, thanks for coming in all the way from Hong Kong. You ready for lunch?
Yeah.
We're ready for bed. You're ready for lunch.
Exactly.
But yeah, good to see you. I haven't, I think last time I saw you, you came to Daly City.
Yes. Because you asked me to buy those Uno cards or something.
Yeah, no, Monopoly deal.
Oh,
yeah.
Monopoly deal, yes.
Yeah, no, that's been a hit. We play that so much; those cards are all worn out. But I wanted the Hong Kong version of those cards.
Yeah. Now I remember.
I was thinking, who do I know that goes back and forth between Hong Kong, and this is when you were still working, I guess, for the airlines.
Yeah, a few years back.
So good to see you, and glad you're healthy and happy over there. And maybe soon you'll be back in the States. Give us a call.
Yeah, hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon. And Tony, good to catch you. It's been decades.
Yeah, decades.
But yeah, good picking your brain. And yeah, don't be a stranger. We'll see you around soon.
Yep.
We got to get together with Caryl one of these days.
Yeah, definitely.
Next time she has a food festival or something, we got to crash it.
She has ones, yep.
But thanks for coming on as a guest, both of you. And for all of you listening out there, thanks for listening. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. where are you dying to go? Let us know where you want to go. Write in. Tell us your thoughts at infatuationpodcast@gmail.com, or you can follow us on Instagram or Facebook at The Infatuation Podcast. All these details are in the show notes. More episodes coming soon. We're thinking about doing another one on K-dramas to do a little wrap-up of 2021 K-dramas. I need more ideas. If you have an idea for a podcast, let me know. I'm thinking about doing one on tea. I don't know. We'll see. Do you want to hear one on tea? Do you want to hear another one on food? There's some other movies coming out that we might talk about. So let me know your ideas on that. You can always write in. But until then, on behalf of Tony, Alice, and myself, we hope you are all happy, healthy, and safe. Thanks again for listening, and talk to you soon. Bye.
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 Thanks, guys. That was fun.
That was fun.
For having me here.